Okay, everybody, it's the Information Man TV. Peace to you. All right. Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody. This is the Information Man of the Information Man TV. I want to say thank you, everybody out there. Unfortunately, this is on a very sad, disappointing evening around the country, night around the country. I've got my man Lions Den on. He did a report earlier today stating and talking about what has happened in Boulder, Colorado at Kroger's. We've had another shooting. I'm going to say right now, America has a very, very serious problem. We already had a shooting in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area of the massage parlors. We have now another shooting, and the thing that is starting to puzzle me and is puzzling my man Lions Den and many black folks like myself is, how is it that these mass shooters, who tend to be white guys, do this sort of stuff, but they never usually get shot by the police? A lot of times they get taken alive. A black man can have a routine traffic stop, be minding our own business. We can even be jogging down the street like Albury, brother Albury, Ahmaud Arbery in Atlanta, where he gets stopped by two individuals, one who was a retired police officer, and they shoot him because they thought he was stealing from someone's house. How the hell are you going to steal from someone's house when you're running and you got nothing in your hands? Sick of it. Sick and tired of it. But tell the goddamn truth tonight, whether y'all like it on Haps, whether y'all like it in all the damn social media or not. Let me bring my man on right now so we can examine this situation. I'm going to open up his, let's do it right now. Lions Den, how you doing? Let's fix this a little bit right here. Let's get this going. Lions Den, this is the breaking news, my brother. We got 204 people that have popped in already between our social media combined. We need to be doing this more often on this program. And definitely got to get you on the YouTube to have you bring in these reports as well.
Okay.
And everybody out there, you need to be subscribing to my man Lions Den on all of his social media before we get started tonight. Tonight, I ain't got the fancy stuff. I'm not in the fancy studio and all of that, because once again, Haps is in the beta stage. And by the time it improves and gets stronger, I think I'll be able to get back to the fancy stuff. Usually when you see the fancy studio that I'm in, the virtual studio, that's because I pre-record the video. I was having some problems earlier tonight trying to get my other software to connect to Haps, and I was having problems. So we're just going to go old school right here. You're in the home studio right now. Lions Den, let everybody know who you are, your footprint that you have in social media, where they can find you. I know you're a YouTuber. Give them a little bit of background about both of us in terms of what we've done in terms of engaging in social issues, whether it be in online radio, blog. Let's just give a rundown and let everybody know where they can find you. Go right ahead, my brother.
Yeah, this is Lions Den, and you can find me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Lions Den. You can follow me on Facebook at, facebook.com/The Real Lions Den. You can also go to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Lions Den, aka Trey X. You can also follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/the_real_lions_den2. You can also basically follow me on Station Head. I'll be on Station Head every Saturday at 11 a.m. and also on stereo, and basically right here on Haps, because I'm gonna be here on Haps every Monday. I've been knowing Information Man and we both known each other for 12 years. He and I met on US Talk Network. We was always a fan of US Talk Network for 12 more years. And also I had a Blog Talk Radio. I was a talk show host on Blog Talk Radio, and Information Man was my co-host. So him and I have been together for 12 plus years, and we still going strong today.
Okay. Let me say peace to Pablo. He's paid us a visit in the chat, and I appreciate him coming over. And let me just say this: every time I go on, I always praise Pablo and Peter and all the folks behind the scenes that I may not know, and the investors who have put this platform together. Once again, it's in the beta stage. So, of course, it's going to have some ups and downs. But so far, what they have put out as a product is excellent. It allows us to get to all of our social media in one swell swoop. And I really appreciate that. So I was talking to Revolution Machine the other night ago. And I think it is good for us to be on this platform at the very beginning of it. Just like it was in YouTube to get our foots get a footstool, a foot stump in this platform and watch it grow and get better. So I appreciate everything that they have done because it allows us to pretty much produce a program free. And I like the fact that they give us reward coins and all these different things. So everybody out there, check out Haps. It's a great platform. Remember, it's in the beta stage, which means it has room, and I do mean a thunderous sound, room to grow. I'm gonna tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
So it's gonna get better and better. So Lions Den, let's get to the point right here now. You came on earlier today. You gave a dramatic, to the point report. You have since told me that you know more about what's going on in that situation in Colorado. So I'm going to have you explain what you know so far. We are going to go to a live feed that was played today that I am going to put on the screen for people to see, which comes straight in the news on the ground of Colorado. I'm going to bring that feed in a few minutes, but go right ahead, Lions Den. What is going on in your estimate right now since you last reported, my brother?
Well, I checked on. Shouts out to Steve Lookner. For those of you who don't know who Steve Lookner is, he's a reporter on Twitter. He always tweets, news back to back, news from all walks of life. But Steve Lookner was doing complete coverage of the situation in Boulder, Colorado, with the shooting at a grocery store. So for those of you that don't know what happened, hours ago, there's been a man automatically a naked, well, he's not naked, but he don't have no shirt on, entering a grocery store. And basically he shot a lot of people near in the parking lot. There's bodies in the parking lot, and there's also bodies inside the grocery store. There's one witness record the entire thing that found two bodies inside the grocery store, and he's reported that the shooter was inside the store. About minutes after I did the reporting, there's two Boulder, Colorado police officers arrest the man. But before that happened, when the cops were this is the update that I found out just now.
Okay.
The cops when the cops were arrived, the same shooter opened fire on the officers. One of the officers was killed immediately. He was killed, and so the two additional officers came into the store. That's when they nabbed the guy. They nabbed the shooter. Luckily, ain't nobody got hurt after that. But the two officers nabbed the guy he didn't have no shirt on, so they put him in custody, put him in the police squad car, and that was that. So those were the update that there's casualties, that these 5 people were killed, and now a report that the officers also killed during the incident. So that's the latest that I tell you right now about this
Okay.
case.
Now, when you were on earlier today on your platform, you made mention that you could actually see, unfortunately, bodies of
Yes.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, when you first encountered seeing that on media, how did it impact? What thought came across your mind to see something like that in this particular case?
Well, when I was on Twitter, and that's what I found the video, and
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
I saw that video, I saw the guy who was a witness of everything. He was the one recording the entire thing. I
Okay.
saw 3 bodies, which is so disturbing. It was 3 bodies on the parking lot. That was so disturbing. And then once he got inside the grocery store, he saw 2 additional bodies inside the store. And then because the guy who works at the grocery store told him that the shooter was is still in the store. And then once
Okay.
that happened, that's when we hearing gunshots. We hear multiple gunshots. That was on that video. He's still hearing
All right.
gunshots inside the grocery store.
All right, Lions Den, do me a favor. Uh, I'm gonna put you front and center on the screen for a moment. Kind of bring yourself down a little bit where people can see your face because you're front and
Okay.
center. I gotta do. You know what I gotta do. I'll be right back in a moment. Continue with what you're saying.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, just like I told earlier when I did my show, um, when I saw the video, there's multiple bodies. I mean, there's at least, like I said, two bodies. These two bodies in the on the parking lot, and there's two additional bodies inside the grocery store. Obviously, I mean, the last story that I've heard, he's been apprehended by both police. It was two police officers apprehending him, unharmed, nothing happened, but the damage has already been done. One of the officers was killed. And so this is to me, and I want you guys to check me out. If y'all missed my program on HAPS TV, make sure you look for me. And there's an archive. You can go on my platform. You can see the entire thing, and explain to you guys what really happened earlier today. So, um, and again, I want to thank Pablo De La Hoya, who's one of the HAPS teams. He gave me a shout out earlier today, and a shout out to him for giving us the platform to speak the truth, to speak our minds. But yet, ladies and gentlemen, it shows you how when you're dealing with mass shootings, it's you never know what will happen next. What city happened next. I'm living in New Mexico, so I'm living in New Mexico. So Colorado is on the north of us. So all the news in Colorado that they have, we have it here. So the latest information I tell you guys is that a police officer was killed. There's like these five fatalities in the Boulder, Colorado grocery store shooting. So just to give you an update, of course, there's been a press conference. I think they already had a press conference.
Right.
Earlier today, and it's confirming what I've been telling you guys right now. But again, y'all, and I'm just giving you my thoughts and prayers to the families that lost a loved one in this tragedy. And of course, this could have been because a lot of people didn't know what happened, and we still didn't know the motive of why he did what he did. We just still
Okay.
developing right now.
Okay. Lions Den, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into a feed that was reporting on this earlier today. If I find some live feeds, and then I'm going to bring CNN, I'm going to pipe CNN right into the audio. And while I play this right here, I'll go to CNN in just a moment once I can pipe that in. So let me go here and do this right now. And hopefully I can get in here. And here go the sound, ladies and gentlemen.
I try to practice mindfulness faithfully, and it wasn't going to happen today. And then hearing from all the other.
All right, I'm going to stop that right there, and I'll bring in the news feed from CNN in just a moment. But let me get back up here with Lions Den. Bring myself back up in here, and bring Lions Den right back on. Here we go. Lions Den. What do you think is going? I heard earlier today, and thank you, Pablo, for telling me to bring the volume up a little bit on that. What do you think is going on right now? We've got a lot of these mass type shootings have been going on for a while. I actually heard a citizen that was being interviewed by that same news crew, and he had a change of mind. He said, yes, I've once was against gun control, but he says when it happens to you and your family and it hits home, it changes your mind. Now, I know that there's people out there that will say, well, guns don't kill people. It's people that kill people. But I think when you make it easier for people to get access to guns to do this, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's Second Amendment rights to bear arms, but what I notice in all these situations, the guys who get their hands on guns and do this kind of mass shooting, there's always something wrong with them, right? You find out later on they had a background. People knew that they were dangerous. People said already, hey, I think this guy could do A, B, and C. I think they need to do something to keep guns out of the hands of people who have a history, whether it be mental health issues, whether it be whatever. That's what a lot of these guys have in common that do this, that they've got some type of breakdown going on with them. What are your thoughts? Lions Den, do you hear me? All right, what are your thoughts?
No, one of the reporters on my channel earlier today. Hear me?
Yeah, I was trying to get your attention, but I don't know if you could hear me.
I can hear you, but I think something's going on with the stream. Something wrong with the feed.
Yeah, something's wrong. I'm noticing it too myself. Yeah, I can hear you. Go right ahead. These are the things that frustrate me.
Can you hear me now?
Go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I talked to one of my fans that was asking about gun control, and I think a lot of people want this gun control to happen. The only problem is that you have the NRA, one of the most powerful lobbyists in the country, who basically giving politicians money to not even discuss gun control as it is. Because I mean, this is the problem, that you allow lobbyists like the National Rifle Association put money on politicians to not even speak about gun control. So I think that's the problem with this. I think that everybody wants gun control, but at the same time, they basically feared of the NRA. They fear of the National Rifle Association and what they're going to do about this, because they're too powerful.
Pablo, I think we just were having some problems with me hearing him or him hearing me, but we're working through it. I think he's coming upstairs with us right now, Lions Den. So let me invite him on in with us. And how can I do this? Let's see. I'll put us 3 together. And here comes Pablo. He's one of the folks that's been working on HAPS. And hopefully he'll come on in with us.
I thought I saw him earlier.
Oh, there he is right there. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. I think we were just having some problems with audio. I think when I was trying to hear what he had to say, he either couldn't hear me when I was calling for him, and then he would hear me all of a sudden. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seems like he's just having audio like internet issues.
Yeah.
And that's causing the delay. Normally what you want to do when stuff like that happens is have him just leave and rejoin.
And then come back. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like. Go ahead.
Go. I think he's left, and hopefully he'll come right back on in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it's anything on the broadcasting side or on your side, because that looks really good.
Okay. Yeah, he's coming. He's coming back in. Okay. Okay. Lions Den, are you using your phone or you using your phone, right?
Yeah, so that delay is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can get his attention again. Lions Den, you're using, I think it might be internet issues. You're using your phone, right? See, he can't hear me.
It takes a while for it to get to him, it seems.
Yeah.
And you can see it because you see in the preview screen how he like keeps loading and unloading.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's letting you know that he's struggling to stay connected. There it is.
Right. Right. Lions Den, can you hear me?
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Maybe it's okay. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pablo was saying that it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think the problem is that it's a connection issue here in New Mexico because it's this when I'm in the room, it was fine at first, but then all of a sudden cuts off. So maybe if I can go on another section, maybe y'all can hear me better. Can y'all hear me now?
It looks.
I can hear you.
And sounds way better here.
Yeah, it looks better. So Lions Den, for now on, just try to go to whatever area of the house where you are to get the best connection, because you're getting the best connection right now. And as a matter of fact, it's even it's more clear too as well. So whatever that area is where you live right now, stay in that area because it's clearer and the visual looks better.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
So that's
All right,
that's
y'all.
the spot. All right,
Have a good one.
Peace to you. Thank you, sir. So Pablo came up and helped us out. So wherever you are, Lions Den, just stay in the area where there's. He said that it might have been internet connection or something that was the problem. But let's get back on track here.
Okay.
Because that's throwing us off track. Let's get ourselves back on track. So you were saying about the gun control. Let's get on track.
Right. The gun control, like I told you before, that the only problem we have about that is the National Rifle Association, the NRA. They're the most powerful lobbyists in the country. They're basically pulling strings or pulling arms on politicians so that they will not talk about gun control, even putting gun control on the congressional floor. So that's the only concern I have. And I know a lot of people want gun control. The problem is, and it's like Red just said, that it's like the black market going on, but the NRA is really pulling politicians not to talk about this issue.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. It's true that people can get guns illegally. They can get it without going to a traditional gun store or shop or whatever. Hell, there's been even situations where people have gone to gun shows and they have been sold a gun in the parking lot outside the gun show by somebody. I get that. But this is the difference. This is what people don't seem to understand. When you look at your criminals, people who do criminal activity, like they're going to go rob somebody, people that are doing gang activity, they're getting their guns under the ground anyway. Okay? But when you look at a lot of these guys that have done mass shootings, when you look at how they got their guns, a lot of times they got their guns right in a shop. Mm-hmm. Without getting a proper background. You can name all the guys that have done these type of shootings, and you find out they got their gun legally because right. and they got it without any background check. Or you got cases where guys have gotten their hands on guns and had mental health problems, which they should be looking at, and it got overlooked by the person selling it to them in the counter, and they still get their hands on. See, people keep mixing these mass shooters with people who go out here in these urban environments and bam, bam, shoot them up, ma'am. Those people are getting their guns from the underground criminal market. These mass shooters are getting their weapons half the damn time right at gun shows, right from gun stores, where they're not looking at their mental health background to say, you know what, we can't give you this. The NRA will use this to say, you're treading on our rights to bear arms. Look, my thing is this. I don't want to take anybody's rights to bear arms. I'm not concerned about people who want to hunt, even though I don't know why you need a semi-automatic weapon to hunt ducks or something, right? But I'm not trying to tread on that. I'm simply saying we got to have a better system of checks and balances when it comes to dealing with these unstable individuals who go out and do mass shootings. If you look at every instance in which this has happened, what do they all have had in common? Or at least it's what the media says. Oh, they had mental health problems. Oh, everybody in the neighborhood knew that they were crazy. Everybody knew they were going to do something sooner or later. Blah, blah, blah. But they had a whole bunch of guns and everybody knew they had guns, right? So everybody knows that these guys have a history. Even when it comes to these school shootings, where you find out that the kid in the school, everybody knew that the kid had problems.
Right.
The Columbine situation, let's take it back to Columbine. The kids in Columbine did what they did. One of them was at home on the computer looking at how he can make bombs and stuff like pipe bombs, right? One of them was in the garage, sawing off stuff, and you got parents saying, "Hey, son, what are you doing in the garage?" "Oh, Dad, I'm not doing anything, just working on something." Look, parents have to be more vigilant as to what their kids are doing too. Right. And people in communities, when you got some, look. See, me and you, look. Let's just keep it 100% real. In the Black community, for those of you who don't know, and I'm talking about there's different Black communities. Not all Black communities are poor. Some are rich, some are middle class, whatever. But within Black communities, particularly those low on the socioeconomic ladder, that we know who the crazy people are in our community, and we identify them sooner than later. We already know, hey, this cat over here is a trouble, man. We got to keep our eyes on him and neutralize him. So my question to white America, and I'm sorry I got to say this, but I'm not sorry. What is white America going to do about the problem of white males who go out and do this type of criminal activity? Because I'm sorry, every time Black people have engaged or been accused of engaging in criminal activity, then all of a sudden America says, what's wrong with Black people? What's wrong with Black America? And then they criminalize Black males. They profile us. Where is the profiling of the white male who does the shooting? Where's the FBI on that one? Okay, a few years ago, they tried to come up with this crap called Black identity extremists. What about the extremists of the white male who's got some problems, who goes out and does mass shooting, and he goes out and he will harm his own people? And then nobody says white on white crime. But they'll say Black on Black crime if you hear anything about in urban environments, Black people harming one another, right? A lot of these mass shooters go into schools, they go into communities, and they're harming, in some cases, other white people, in some cases. Or they're harming whoever, in the case of what happened in Atlanta when he killed, what was it, 7 Asian women or 6 Asian women? So sometimes they'll spray everybody, and sometimes they'll harm themselves. Just in the case of the guy, what was the guy a couple of years ago who had those weapons in Las Vegas, went to a hotel and started shooting particularly white people that were at a country concert. What I'm saying to white America tonight, y'all got a problem that y'all need to deal with in your communities too, because you're very good at telling us about our communities. But you got a problem. There's a problem with the white male who needs a weapon and goes out and harms people. And why is it that and you never hear the NRA or even people who talk all this stuff about bearing arms denounce these individuals who go out there and do mass shootings? They never hardly address the issue.
Right, I agree with you, and I think what is happening too, Info, is that and I saw a comment talking about the Chicago thing, about the gun in Chicago. I'm gonna tell you something. Chicago, the state of Illinois, and I just learned about this too, got the most strictest gun laws in that state. And a lot of people want to know how the guns still get in the state. You have to remember, you got Wisconsin, and you got other states that allow guns inside inside the city of Chicago. So the reality is that we have to understand that, you know, with these gun laws, and I think that when like you said, everybody want to jump on our community when it comes to black on black violence, but they didn't say a word when it comes to mass shootings all across the country. That's because when it comes to white shooters, you know, they never say anything about that, but yet they want to jump on us when it comes to our situation. So my thing is, and I agree with you, Info, that if y'all really serious about cracking down gun violence, then why start on your own communities? Because the thing is that they always, I mean, they got, you see people that when shooting suspects got either gun ammo or they got
Right.
got basically already got automatic weapons. Some that even got magazines you can order from to get these automatic weapons or these bullets. So at the end of the day, we definitely basically need, if y'all really serious about this, we definitely try to figure out to crack that down. And for the people that who's criminal, who has a criminal record, that don't need to have guns, they definitely don't want. They just should have said nah. They even look at the background and said, "Nah, you a criminal. You a criminal. We cannot accept you with the because you got a criminal record." So those are things that we need to do. My question is, what were the politicians are going to do? I mean, the thing is, we always try to yell gun control, gun control, gun control. But until the politicians say, okay, we're going to put that we're going to try to get gun control on the Senate or the House floor, the gun violence is still going to continue to happen regardless. Info, you there? Okay, I guess he stepped out. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to understand that, you know, what happened earlier today in Colorado was a tragedy. You know, 5 people, including a police officer, lost their lives today. And, you know, we have situations like this, and it's always, and then we have the situation in the city of Atlanta. What happened with the 6 Asians and a white man and a white woman who were killed in Atlanta in the abuse at a massage parlor. Now you got an incident right here in the grocery store. So you know, the thing of it is that we have to trigger this. I mean, unless Congress or a senator say we need to put gun control bill on the floor, violence like this will continue to happen.
Right. Well, let me say something right here, because I think somebody wrote, I think from Twitter, I think it was Ted. If I'm saying his name right, Ted. He said that he says, when I'm at the gym, people think I'm the gun show. He also said gun control. He said gun control works so well in Chicago. And he's got a smirk. But let's keep this in mind. There's a lot of people who may not know this. Most of the guns that get into Chicago don't come from Chicago. They come from Indiana. People drive them in. Or like I said, when people are involved in underground activities, they'll get their guns illegally. When it comes to these mass shooters, a lot of times when they do the background check on these guys, they find out that these guys got their guns not as illegal as you think. But the question is, how did they get them when they already had a mental health issue? When there was already history that would make you say, well, this guy's got mental health issues. Maybe we need to take a step back and evaluate this guy further. This isn't about taking guns away from law-abiding citizens. Let me get that correct right now. This is about keeping guns out of the hands of people who should not have guns because they're not mentally or stable, and they're not stable overall based on their history of things that they've done in the past and the concern that the community has had about them. Let me pipe in CNN. Let's take a little small break for a minute, Lions Den, while I pipe in CNN and hear what they're saying about this situation. And here it comes.
So masks mean nothing. And this is the COVID pandemic is a hoax. And you're a fool. And I'll never come to your restaurant again.
Okay, they're talking about something else, but let me go right back into this right here real quick. Let's go back into this real quickly, and let me move the bar up a little bit. I want to get into the meat of things right now, and here we go. All right, people are saying,
Yeah, I'm starting to see it too, that they couldn't hear any sound.
you
Or
know, let me see something. I'm gonna stop that right there. I think I know what's going on. So let me I know what I gotta do. Let me do something Lions Den. I know exactly what I need to do. I'm gonna reconnect it. I'm gonna reconnect it again. I know exactly what the problem is right now. Here it is, right here. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Some technical problems tonight, but we're getting through it. All right, let me move this up. Let me move this up right here. Hopefully, everybody will hear this.
It's just, it's really scary that because I was about to go there, and it's just, I just don't even know what to say because I would never think that would happen around here.
Well, Ben, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and taking the time to speak with us. And again, still waiting on that press conference here any minute now. It's supposed to start at 5:45. Kim Kelly, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Andrea, thanks very much. And
All right.
we really should mention.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there, see if I can get us straight to the press conference that they were waiting for earlier today. Lions Den, why I try to find that. Did you get a chance to see yourself the press conference?
Unfortunately, no. I haven't seen the press conference, but I've been hearing that, what the officer was saying, explaining to the public what happened moments before, the guy coming in the store, and that's when all hell broke loose. But no, I didn't see the press conference, but I already knew what the officers were about to say of what happened that day.
Now, let me go back to when they caught this guy, because that's the thing that amazes me. This is the guy right here that they caught. Here.
It's one of the people we saw leave this afternoon. Jim, you and I watched that live from the view from Copter 4. We saw that gentleman who...
Now, that's not the shooter, Lions Den? Is that someone who was severely... That's the shooter, right?
That was definitely the shooter, what I've been hearing.
All right.
Yes.
Let me play this back and let's see this. Let's see this. So I'm very interested.
High School parking lot remains the only person we saw who actually, at least from what we could tell, left the grounds needing urgent medical care.
Right.
And this person, who we think was a suspect in the shootings, was taken to one of the two local Boulder hospitals via ambulance, and there he is getting loaded onto the gurney, still handcuffed. And we'll wait to find out more about who this person is in that news conference coming up in a few minutes. And we also understand that President Joe Biden at the White House tonight has been briefed on the violence at the King Soopers and Boulder right there at South Table Mesa and Broadway. And that was a look at some of the damaged windows. And
right.
We know that with the gun.
All right, Lions Den, I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to try to see if I can find the live feed of the press conference or anything that's going on. But while I do that, let me bring you back on and myself, first of all, bring myself back up and also bring you on as well. And let's get back to this as we were speaking before, my brother. And let's do this. So this is the thing that we were saying before we came on, ladies and gentlemen, and that is, it really blows my mind, Lions Den, how these mass shooters, the police will take them alive, but every time, let's say, a black man is stopped by the police, whether it be a routine traffic stop or the police officer feels that that individual is suspicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, no, it's not some reason, it's just the facts that black men in this country, we find ourselves in situations where we end up getting shot by the police, even when we haven't either committed a crime or when we question the police officer professionalism in the way that they shoot us. For example, Rashad Brooks in Atlanta, Georgia, was sleeping in his car. The police went over to his car, woke him up out of his sleep, and said, "What's going on? What's going on? What are you doing here?" He admitted to the police officers that he had been drinking and that he simply wanted to sleep in his car so that he would not drive and violate the law by getting a DUI. Well, they didn't even offer to drive him home to his sister's house because he said, "My sister lives up the street here, but I'm going to sleep it off." So during that whole process, they decided that they were going to try to arrest the man. But he had not committed any damn crime because he wasn't, when he was in the car, he wasn't moving the car. And he said, "I'm sleeping, officer, because of these reasons." They could have easily put him in the police car and taken him to his family's house so he could sleep the rest of it off and come back the next day and get his car sober, right? But instead, They decided they were going to arrest him. He got scared and he ran away from the police. They chased him. I think one of them shot him with a taser. He took the taser out of their hand and shot the taser back, right? But he ended up dead.
Right.
This man today, he goes into a store and he shoots up the place. And he is walked to a gurney to get medical care, although he's probably taking people's lives. He gets medical care and they take him alive. The kid Long in Atlanta, Georgia, doing what he did, they take him alive.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Mm-hmm. So when you got white males going out here doing mass shootings, they take them alive, and if they don't take their own life, because sometimes they take their own life, they take them alive. And when it comes to dealing with black men who are unarmed, by the way, because black men are shot by police 3 times compared to white males unarmed. White males do get shot by the police, but they don't get shot at the high numbers unarmed. Here, this man was armed with all type of weaponry. They take him alive. Somebody needs to explain that to me.
And you see incidents like this all the time, Info. And I remember, I think one of the suspects, I think he started shooting at somebody, and the police officers gave him a bottle of water. While he was handcuffed, they gave him a bottle of water. And you remember another incident. And so much incidents I can even count that is happening. And you remember what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Remember that teenager that went in there and started shooting Black Lives Matter protesters, and they gave him a bottle of water?
Well, what happened that night is that the reason why Black Lives, see, this is a story that they don't tell people. The reason why that happened is because there were some white kids out there that were promoting Black Lives Matter. Look, when it comes to that summer, you had a lot of provocateurs out there, Lions Den, so we don't really know who was who, but this is the situation. They first jumped him because he had the gun in his hand. So they were trying to get the gun out of his hand in the first place. Then one guy got shot. Then he shot another 2 guys, right? But prior to that night, the police were out there praising him and his friends who came from out of the state with guns and said, "Thank you guys for being out here," and even gave him a bottle of water. I got the video on that, right? And said, "Thank you." Yeah. Then when he shot the 3 people that he shot, He went walking down the street, put his hands up, and the cops never arrested him. He was able to get in his car, drive all the way back home I think he was from Chicago. I think he was from Illinois, crossed state lines, went back home and was able to crawl into his goddamn bed that morning, that night. Although they were looking for him to come back. Then during this particular trial, the damn judge gave this individual a bail. He was under some type of, okay, we're going to put a ankle on you, whatever they did with him. But then he never showed up, remember? And then they didn't know where the hell he was. That would never, if that was a black man, it would never happen. I don't care what nobody would say. They would never have done that. Never, never, never. Okay? Let's look at who's the guy that got a Burger King in South Carolina when he went into the church.
Dylan Roof.
Dylan Roof went into the Bethlehem, the church, one of the first churches to ever be founded. You know that church really should be named after Turner, Nat Turner.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't name it after him because Nat Turner is the one who did the slave revolts, right? When slaves were doing revolts throughout this whole country trying to get their freedom, right?
Yep.
And Dylan Roof went in there, and he went in there under the disguise of saying that he was praying with the people, and he ended up shooting them and killing all the people in the church, black folks here. And then we find out later on he's got problems too. He subscribes to white supremacy, Nazi this, Nazi that kind of stuff. And the damn police told him, do you want something to eat? They took him to a damn Burger King, and that's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
A damn Burger King. You see what I'm saying? So, and then not too long ago, you had the police officer saying that dude Long in Atlanta had a bad day. Oh, he had a bad day. What do you mean he had a bad day? Those people were dead and he had a bad day? Yeah, right. Then we find out that in his social media, he was promoting all that Donald Trump propaganda about, well, it's the Kung flu, it's the Chinese flu, all that propaganda that was being pushed out there about So what he did is he used the same propaganda that Trump created to focus on Asian people. And this is a man who we supposed to say is an officer that we supposed to respect. We're supposed to respect this type of law enforcement. Nobody should respect this type of law enforcement whatsoever when there's a different treatment for different people given whatever they do. This man is doing these white males who are the ones that should be profiled just the way they profile black men. They should be profiling these. They should be profiling these white males who are most likely to go do mass shootings.
Right. And I believe, I would agree with what you said earlier that the FBI, in my opinion, needed track down all these white supremacist groups that plan to do mass shootings. Unfortunately, they're not looking at that. They're only looking at black people, quote unquote, call themselves the BIE, which is the Black Identity Extremists, which we never even heard anything like that. It's like a made up name, in my opinion. We never heard anything about no Black Identity Extremists, but they're only focused on black people who always speaks the truth. And obviously, and really, we're not the targets here. Okay, we're definitely not the targets. If you want to find the targets, look at the white supremacist groups. Look at all the people that making plans to put bombs in the churches or put bombs in stores or start mass shootings in every other state. Look at those profiles. They're not. See, the problem is they're not doing that.
Right. See, this is the thing. Somebody said in the chat room, and there's a lot of good people in the chat room, Lions Den, said that they should shoot them in the leg. But this is the thing that people have to understand about law enforcement. Law enforcement officers are not taught to shoot people in the leg. And this is the facts behind it, ladies and gentlemen. That's in the movies, ladies and gentlemen. See, that comes from us watching television and movies where cops do all of that. Police officers are not trained to shoot you in legs and arms. They are trained to shoot you center mass. That's their training.
Yep.
That's the way they're trained. It's the same way in the military. Center mass. Simple as that. And when they're trained to shoot you center mass, they're trained to take you out. It ain't no thing about, well, we're going to save you. It's to take you out if they deem you as dangerous. Lions Den, I'm going to see if I can find a live feed and see what's going on live. I'm going to bring it into the show. While I'm doing that, you could greet our guests out there. We got Tony D. We got a lot of great folks in the chat in that chat room.
Okay. I would send a shout out to Tony D, TP Judah Lion from YouTube, Dr. Che. I'm gonna go Natasha Cutie Pie. So let's go. I mean the red thing on their names is from YouTube, and I believe the blue is from Twitter. So let's go up and shout out to Red, and shout out to Roy Piper. You know, we always go report Ted Hicks. Truth Over Everything, Lamar 24, Amcan. I'm going to scroll up. Ted Scheckler, if I can pronounce his last name right. Luke MCC, and of course Pablo de La Hoya, who's from the Haps team, was doing, in my opinion, doing an excellent job for setting this up and everything. But that's basically it, info.
Okay, let me do this real quick. Let me bring in the feed from CNN and see what they're talking about right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Move into your new.
All right, they're on commercial right now. We'll bring them back in just a moment. Thank you, everybody, for coming over. I want to say, I want to apologize for some of the technical problems that we've had tonight. You know, me and Lions Den, we're both guys that are used to being on YouTube, and so we're still trying to grow with the growing pains and the bumps and the ups and downs of HAPS, because it is in the beta stage. It will improve itself. My name is Information Man. I'm called Information Man TV over here. But I do have a YouTube channel. It goes by the name of Information Man Show. Check it out on YouTube. Go and subscribe. I also podcast. I have a podcast channel called Information Man Speaks Podcast. I podcast on traditional platforms like SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. You name it, you can find me on it. And I also have a YouTube version as well. So check out the Information Man Show on YouTube. I do a lot of heavy hitting commentary over there. And I think you will like definitely how I get down on the YouTube stage. Most definitely. Lions Den, let me go back and see what they're saying right now. If the feed is ready to go. Not ready yet. So Lions Den, what do you think is going to ultimately happen in the case of what do you think is going to happen? Because I'm going to say this again. I don't believe that I think people should have the right to bear arms. Mm-hmm. But I think we've got to figure out a way to identify people who potentially can do these mass shootings. If you look at all the guys that did the mass shootings in the past prior to what has happened within this last few weeks, they all have something in common. Everybody said that they knew that they were a walking time bomb. Their teachers, the school, family or friend members who knew that something was wrong. People have said that this person got a gun because they failed to do the little thing like do the mental health background check or what have you. So it seems that these kind of people are getting their hands on weapons and doing these type of deeds, and it's falling between the cracks somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. What are your thoughts? Oh, he's off the broadcast now. Hopefully Lions Den will be back in the broadcast. So let's hopefully get him back on. What is everybody else's thoughts in the chat room? Thank you for coming over. Really appreciate this. Peace to you. Thank you for the Super Heart Award. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for coming over to, this evening and supporting the program. And I'm waiting for Lion. I'm going to wait for Lions Den to come right back in. I'm going to see what we got on the feed here.
Kind of, running out of King Supers. Everybody's looking that way.
Here we go, folks.
And we hear the sirens coming, and so many police officers pulled into that place and came out with their guns. Like SWAT came in there, and they just started kind of sweeping the place, telling everybody to get back in wherever they were, lock the doors, stay away from the windows. So that's what we did.
And I know sometimes it's hard to remember kind of time, but from the time that you heard the shots to seeing the police come in, what sort of time frame are you talking about?
Maybe 5 minutes, because right when the shots came, I had texted my sister who was at a restaurant downstairs and was telling
Lions Den, let's just listen to this for a moment.
And then I heard on the phone with her, I heard the sirens already. So it was pretty dang quick.
Do you know what time you texted? What time where you heard the shots?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I texted her at 2:32 p.m. and I was like, something wild is happening outside. Come back into the shop now.
So at 2:32, that's when you've heard the initial shots, and about how many shots did you hear in total?
I think it was 4, and they both sound. One was like a pop pop, and then the other one was like a crack.
Now, Lions Den, have you been able to figure this part out too? I believe that I read or heard a news report that they potentially think it may have been more than one shooter. Has that been confirmed? Have you confirmed that in any of the reports that you've read?
Well, I heard the same thing, but unfortunately, all I know is just one person. That's all I heard right now. One person.
All right.
And they did do an investigation on, they find more than one shooters. I think they went to the suspect's house to try to do an investigation on that. Other than that, the way I look at it, it's only one person as of right now.
Okay, good. Let me bring this volume back up and hear what the young lady is saying.
They were going behind the building, and we're all kind of like, what's going on? So that's when we went outside, saw the window, and then the cops started showing up.
And was there glass on the ground from the window? So it was a new break?
Yeah, there was glass on the ground.
Okay. So it's unclear to you what it was that caused the shattered window, whether it was an individual who may have been involved in an incident inside the store or something else.
Yeah, the yoga studio is actually closed right now because they had a pipe burst. But we're not sure if it was related to the actual shooting. That's just what got our attention.
Right. And where are you now? Are you still on the scene?
No, we were able to leave. We were locked in there till about, let's see, what time is it? 6:50. So probably about 5:45 is when they kind of let us go. They came to the door and said, how many people are in there? We'll get you guys out of there. And it's about an hour later that the cops started leaving. And then we got, from like Twitter and stuff, we saw that they were heading to 17th Street to apparently go, I don't know if it was related to the shooting or not, but they were sending SWAT there. So.
And you said it was about, within a 5-minute range that you heard sirens after the shots.
Yes, definitely.
Well, Jessica, I really appreciate your time. I'm glad you're okay, and I appreciate you talking to us as we're trying to kind of piece together information on this.
Yeah, no problem at all. Call if you guys need anything else.
All right, you take care, Jessica Crumby. Thanks so much. Well, the breaking news coverage continues. I want to hand things over right now to Don Lemon and CNN Tonight.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We have been following the breaking news here on CNN with details still coming in at this hour. This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. Thank you so much for joining us. There you see the scene live now in Boulder, Colorado. Here's what we know about our breaking news. The second mass shooting in this country in a week, this time in Boulder, Colorado at a supermarket. There are multiple people, including a police officer, killed at the King Soopers store in Boulder. Police not yet saying how many people lost their lives. Boulder County's district attorney says families are still being notified at this hour.
There's a lot of investigation already underway. A lot of things are being realized as the crime scene's being processed, including the number of victims, which is known to police investigators. But I want to stress that victims' family members are still being notified. So we're being really sensitive to the victims' families.
Michael Doherty, the district attorney there, officials say one person is in custody and being treated at a hospital right now. Again, the information just coming in. You can see live pictures now from Boulder, Colorado. It's 8:01 p.m. Mountain Time. And they say there is no ongoing threat to the public at this time. One senior law enforcement source is telling CNN that the weapon used in the shooting was an AR-15 style rifle.
AR-15.
Police asking any witnesses who have information to contact the
AR-15.
Boulder Police Department. And I need to let you know that we're expecting another press conference later on tonight. As you know, in the press conference a little bit earlier, not much information was given. Hopefully in the press conference coming up at any time this in the next couple of hours, we will get more information and we're going to bring that to you as it happens. But you must see this video. This video is from a witness. And I have to warn you as well. It is graphic. It shows what appears to be a body. You'll also hear what appears to be a gunshot. Here it is.
He went in the store. Right down there. Oh my God. Guys, we got people down inside King Supers. Look, there's holy
Again, a horrific scene there. This was a scene as police called for the gunman to surrender.
Suspect in the building. This is the Boulder Police Department. The entire building is surrounded.
All right. I'm going to bring that down for a moment, Lions Den. We'll check back in on the CNN feed. Everybody heard that clearly. You heard the gunshot. We don't have the visual. I'm not going to play the visual. If I get my hand, I'm not going to play it on. I don't think I'm going to play it on here. So I don't have that visual, but it's obvious that person could see bodies. Lions Den, you saw the visual, did you? Did you not?
Yes, I did. Again, it is very disturbing, very graphic. I see at least 3 bodies again on the parking lot, and I see 2 additional bodies inside the grocery store. When the witness called 911 and told him the situation, a store employee told him there's the gunman that did the shooting. It was still inside the store, and that's when you hear gunshots.
Okay. All right. We've got my man Teg Hits that's coming in the house. And we got Brandy who's coming in the house too. I'm glad that Brenda who's coming in the house. I thank you for being here, Brenda, for coming in. She says hello from Emeryville. Thank you for being here. I'm going to check in the feed. I'm going to continue to check and see if I find any visuals as well. The whole situation is crazy. But I had asked the question before, what do you think's going to happen? Now, you just heard on that audio feed that the gunman is being treated at the hospital. And as of right now, they can't give us a complete count as to how many people are pronounced no longer with us. They've got to contact the family members and tell them your family member has been injured or is no longer with us. That's a hell of a thing to have to be tasked with. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not surprised when you thinking about all these mass shootings that happen, and but one thing I do learn is that when it comes to the treatment and the double standards, you notice that they treated white suspects differently when they treat us. You know, when we do something, we get killed immediately. We be shot up to death, right? We've been all the bullet holes in our bodies and everything. But when it comes to white suspects, they have to treat it in a delicate situation, and they either get shot in the leg or they probably like turn themselves in to the authorities, and they treat them very differently. Like you said, they take the suspect to the hospital for treatment. When it comes to us, we will no longer here. Excuse me. So at the end of the day, this just shows you that how they treat it when it comes in white suspects.
Right. Let me see what they're saying on the feed right now.
Lucy's getting some new information there. Lucy, if you need to jump in,
new information coming in.
Just to ask you.
Just to let you know, there's going to be another press conference in about 10 minutes.
So
actually less than that, 6 minutes.
In 6 minutes, we'll get another press conference. Okay, Lucy, we'll hang with you just for a minute here.
What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get that press conference on a live feed to bring into the program. So they said, according to CNN, that there's going to be another press conference in about 6 minutes. I'm going to try to bring in the live press conference feed as soon as it's up and running.
A lot of information.
So let's listen to this for a minute.
They wouldn't even.
Go ahead, Lions Den.
No, I was going to say that the which means because since it's mountain time here, more than likely the press conference won't be starting until like at 8:35 at least hit mountain time, which is like 7:35 your time and 10:35 Eastern time. So
it's 7:27 p.m. Western time where I'm at right now. So I'll just check and see whenever it's on. And they said 6 minutes, which is so that could be we'll figure it out, Lions. Then I'll try to get this before my goal before we end this tonight is I want to bring in that feed, that live feed, and see. I'm going to bring in the actual visual of the feed and see what we're going to hear and see what they're talking about, basically.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, do I believe that this is going to make a difference in terms of how they're going to deal with guns in this country? I really personally don't think. Because personally, I believe that the one thing that should have been the camel to hit the straw to hit the camel's back, it should have been Sandy Hook when those children were killed in Sandy Hook. That should have been the one thing that should have woke America up. When you had 3 and 4 and 5 and you had little kids, and what that showed me is that told you everything you need to know about American society, that you have children that were killed in that way. There was a lot of lip service that was being given, and they still didn't do a damn thing.
Right. It's basically sad, I think that, like you said, I thought we learned from Columbine, Sandy Hook, other mass shootings across this country, but unfortunately, they're not learning a damn thing. And as well, the thing of it is that Congress said we want gun control. But reality, like I told you, the NRA is one of the most powerful lobbyists in the country. And they would do anything to not let that happen. So, and when a lot of people are going to say is that
okay,
what about our First Amendment rights? You take away our First Amendment rights, and this is what the NRA wanted. The NRA info, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me play something. I want you to hear what this man said today. He's the man who said that he has a wake-up call when it comes to gun control after what happened. He's got a newfound wake-up call. Let's hear this real quick. I've got it all fired up, and let's go at it right now.
Stephen told me that. So just tell me about your grandkids were inside.
My 2 granddaughters, at 13 and 14, basically came in with their dad so he could get a COVID shot. They came in through the east door where the pharmacy is, and that's where it all started. And there was shooting, and he saw it and got the girls down. They ran and hid upstairs in a coat closet for an hour in the coats, and then they were communicating with my daughter through his phone, texting, and then the cops came in through the roof and we're protecting them. They're out now, out the back. They got out, and they, you know, this is going to be pretty hard for them to live with, I think.
God. When you hear from them, what's going through your mind as a grandparent when you hear something like that?
Well, there's what's more precious, you know. And then I get really angry, and I feel like, you know, what is, you know, every city is susceptible, but there's a way in which I would think that, well, this wasn't going to happen in Boulder, and now we know better.
Stephen, how are they? You mentioned they got out. How are they doing now? Where are they?
I talked to the youngest one, and she's, you know, really acting tough and strong, and they're getting on a bus, a police bus, and they're going to all get, I guess, interviewed before they're allowed to come back to the car and go home.
You said a 12 and a 13-year-old.
Yeah. So this is heartbreaking.
How are you doing?
You know, I'm shaking. I'm so glad they're safe, and it's not okay that we don't have better gun control laws. Let me just say that. It's not, you know, when it's your family, suddenly I want better people to have guns if they're going to have them, and that this has got to stop. Every week in the United States there's a shooting. Now it's our turn, and that should never be repeated anywhere.
All right, Lions, then I'm going to stop that right there. I'm going to come back on here and bring you back on as well with me. I've got something I want to say. The grandfather, he was talking about his grandkids, and he said that thank God his grandkids are alive. I guess his daughter, they're being interviewed by the police, and he says that it's got to stop. Now, I know that in America, we love our guns and all that kind of stuff, but think about it. If you go to Australia, in Australia, they completely do not want people having semi-automatic weapons. Other countries in the world have guns, and they don't have the same level of gun violence as we have in America. Now, when you go over to a place like Great Britain, the UK, particularly in England, you've got what they call over there knife wars, where people are harming themselves with knives, and that's bad. That's very bad. But when you look at the rest of the world, quote unquote civilized society, quote unquote, they don't have the same level of gun problems that we have in America. My question is, what is wrong with American society where we have guns, all that we want, and you have other countries who also allow their citizens to have guns, but they don't have the same level of gun violence in their countries as we have in American society? What is our problem? All right. What is the problem in our society? Go right ahead, Lions Den.
I'm reading the comment info, and this guy named Nate said, "What about Chicago? Why is it not covered like this? Same amount every weekend." You know,
well, wait a minute though. Every time they have a shooting in Chicago where people get shot over the weekend, it's reported all that they report it. But right. what they normally do is they demonize the black community and say, what about black on black crime? What's wrong with y'all black folks out there? But they don't address the fact that the guns come from Indiana. They don't address the fact that there's There's police in Chicago that are a little crooked too. They don't talk about that little part. They'll be quick to say that as if it represents all black people in the community that are engaging in that type of behavior. But when white people engage in white on white crime, such as what happened in Waco, Texas a couple years ago, where you had two white biker gangs fighting each other, nobody called it white on white crime. When the guy did the massacre in Las Vegas and shot white folks that went to a country concert, they didn't call that white on white crime. When you had the Donald Trump supporters storming the Capitol on January 6th, they didn't call that white on white crime because they were saying that they wanted to hang Mike Pence. They were fighting even the blue lives that they claim that they love, that were also white. I saw it on video. We all saw it on video. There were white cops up there. There were black cops that got peppered with the N-word, but there were also white cops that were being beat up and attacked by these same kind of people, and you didn't hear anybody on television call that white on white crime.
But Info, and this is why I said that every time we try to bring up the news, we try to bring up the truth, they always want to use what about black on black crime or what about Chicago? It's like every single time we try to bring up facts, and yet they always want to bring that situation up. The thing of it is that we always talk about black on black crime on all the major news, local white crime that's happening in their neighborhoods or in their neck of the woods. See, this is the problem. This is the problem that America is facing. They plaster us killing each other on TV, but when it comes to them killing each other, they don't want to put it on TV. They just try to ignore and go into the next narrative. So it seems to me that this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to not talk about this and try to put on black crime. What about Chicago? What about New York? Listen, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about what happened today. We're talking about what happened in Colorado. We ain't talking about what happened in Chicago every other weekend. That to me is like irrelevant right now, in my opinion.
Okay, check this out. I'm about to bring something up here to you guys' attention. I mentioned about these sticky gun laws, right? Check this out. I'm about to present this to everybody out there listening. Hang on for a moment. I want y'all to see this for yourselves. Give me 1 minute to connect this and so that you can all see this. And all right. Just like I said before, give me a minute. Here we go. Here comes the breaking news for you all to hear about Colorado gun laws. Here we go.
Information is power.
And here we go.
COVID-19 spike in firearm purchases in Colorado. On a typical day, the average gun background check takes only 8 minutes. Now it's beyond 3 days, and that's a problem because according to federal law, Colorado's only has 3 business days to complete a gun background check. Now, we just finished speaking with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. They confirm gun sellers can now release guns on their own to buyers without a completed background check if it hasn't been completed in 3 business days. CBI is encouraging dealers, however, not to do this. However, we have confirmed tonight at least one person in Colorado who was denied a background check had already been given their firearm.
Well, when we exceed the 3 business day rule that was established by the feds,
is power.
It is the discretion of the licensed firearms dealer if they would like to release that firearm to the buyer. Now, what we are saying is that we strongly encourage our FFLs across the state to hold those weapons until the background checks are completed. I can tell you there has been one instance where a firearm was released and then a denial later came in. one instance. We're working with that gun purchaser to recover that weapon.
Along with it. Now, we have reached out to Governor Polis's office. He does have the power to suspend firearm sales during an emergency like this, but so far, gun shops are allowed to be open under Colorado's stay-at-home order. The Colorado gun background check backlog now sits around 9,000 firearms. CBI saying they're working every day to speed up the background check process. And the majority of firearm dealers, they say, are waiting to hand over those guns until the paperwork is official. Joe St. George, Fox 31.
Joe, thank you. Healthcare workers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is what's going on. Let me bring in some more perspective.
So I'm going to take some Super Beet. It increases circulation throughout the body. It's important for cardiovascular health. They come with these.
Let me disengage that. Hang on, Lions Den, hang on. I got to disengage this. All right. Go right ahead. I don't know how that got in there, but go ahead, my brother.
I would like to respond. Will said, what about Black Lives Matter riots for months? You know, I want to respond to that because it's so disingenuous of when a person said, what about Black Lives Matter riot for months? You know, when all the racial injustice happened, when riots happen, we are not through bottles at buildings. Okay, there's reports that you see white people, some white people does that. So it doesn't make any sense on why this guy will even ask the question like that. It's ridiculous. But anyway.
Nah, I can end that nonsense in a while and just like this. There were provocateurs, people who disguised themselves as being members of the Black Lives Matter movement, who purposely went out there. I gotta mute your Lions Den because I got it's too much back sound right now. I gotta say what I gotta say. There were members out there people out there in those crowds during the summer who were not real members of Black Lives Matter. They were provocateurs. They were people out there like the Boogaloo Boys, the Umbrella Man who was going around busting out windows on purpose, wearing Black Lives Matter clothing or dressed in black. There were several incidents where you had white kids dressed in Black Lives Matter shirts and were going up to buildings and spray painting and all that. And then you had real Black Lives Matter movement members saying, hey, get out of here. What are you guys doing? You had, I witnessed myself on video, a guy that was walking around busting out windows, acting like he was part of Black Lives Matter, and the police were watching him and letting him do it. Then there were mysterious bricks that were being left. Okay, so there were people out there that really weren't part of the movement. They were just out there to cause problems. Infiltrators. You've got the people that are out there to take advantage of a situation to loot versus those that were out there, really out there protesting for something that was real. So my question to the person who wrote that is, do your damn research before you open up your mouth and put your damn foot in your mouth and say something without doing your research, because there was a lot of people out there that were members of Boogaloo Boys and Proud Boys who went out there purposely acting like they were part of the movement, but they were there to create confusion and problems because they were provocateurs. That was some of the things that were happening, and that includes people who really weren't out there to protest, just to loot and take advantage. Then there are the people that were really the real protesters. Now you take that and put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now let's move on with the program. God damn it.
Tell the truth.
See, they got me doing my YouTube. They got me they got me going off like I'm on YouTube here. Y'all don't want me to go there with you. Y'all ain't ready for that. All right, Lions, and let me find out. Sorry about that, Lions. And it's just that when you were trying to come in, brother, I was trying to get that clip off first because there was a lot of back sound that I'm hearing in my mic. And then I was going to come right on over to you. That's why I had stopped you at that moment, because I had to get that off, come back over here. And you always got somebody that's going to say something without doing any research. because and see, you know what? It's funny how that person brought that up, but he didn't bring up anything about Kyle Rittenhouse and how Kyle walked out on his bail where they didn't even know where he was at. Bring up that one. Bring up that one. Or let's talk about those cops in Minnesota choking out a black man. Black man gets choked out, and now George Floyd trial is happening right now, Lions Den. And what they want to do is they want to say, well, no, he didn't die because your eyes lied to you that the cop choked him with his knees. He died because he had drugs in his system, or that he had they want to muddy up the mud with garbage. No, we all saw what happened this summer. The man killed him. Now, check this out. Lions Den, did you know this? Derek Chauvin should have never been allowed to be a police officer before he even got his hands on George Floyd. You know what? You know why? Because prior to George Floyd, Derek Chauvin had already choked out a 14-year-old kid. A mother called the police because she was having problems with her son. Derek Chauvin showed up on the scene. He employed a choke on the kid. The mother told Derek Chauvin, stop it, you're gonna kill him. You stop choking him, to the point that the mother had to get on his ass. Derek Chauvin has a history. George Floyd would be alive today. He didn't die because he had drugs in his system or something. No, George Floyd, if he was going to die of drug use, he was going to die of drug use. No, George Floyd died because this man put pressure on his neck, which means he wasn't getting blood to his brain. And on top of that, Derek Chauvin already showed the same techniques towards a 14-year-old kid. He should have been shut down after he did that. And had they shut him down after he did that, maybe George Floyd would be alive today and we would never know the name of George Floyd. Take that and put that in your goddamn pipe. Don't play with me. Don't play with me over here. God damn it. Go ahead, Lions Den, with whatever you wanted to say.
Tell the truth.
Well, I totally agree with you. I think what we're seeing with the Derek Chauvin situation is, like you say, he had a history, but the Minneapolis police ignore it. They just ignore his history at all. But you notice that the mainstream media always bringing up George Floyd's past. They always do that when it comes to black victims that was involved with the police. They always want to bring up their past, and yet they're not doing it. They bring up their police officers' past. You know, they didn't bring up what they did before this incidents happened. So, you know, the Derek Chauvin trial is very important, and we definitely, hopefully, that, you know, the George Floyd's family would get justice in this case. But, you know, there's some discrepancies. I'm gonna say it like this, Info. There's some discrepancies about the jury pool they try to do. They asking so many questions on the jury pool that doesn't make any sense. That didn't have anything to do with the situation with George Floyd or anything like that. So this is what we need to be careful. We need to be paying attention on, because if they pick, when I think about that pick, then, you know, the officer going to walk. And that's how I feel about that.
Right. We got Ted Hicks is in the audience. Ted, it's good to see you here. Thank you for coming up. Let me check and see what's going on with the feed here. Let's see what CNN is talking about right now. Let me bring them in.
But of course, it's still shocking when it happens so close to home. This happened at a grocery store that I shop at, that is just down the street from where my wife is a middle school teacher. This hits close to home, and my heart is incredibly heavy, as I know many Americans are tonight. What we are hearing is that this was one individual that walked into the King Soopers where people were grocery shopping. Some people were at the pharmacy getting their COVID-19 vaccine. And then all of a sudden, their day was changed forever. And we're hearing different numbers. I know there's going to be a press conference again soon, and we hope to get more information after families have been notified. But what we are hearing, the reports on the ground here, is that at least 6 individuals, 1 police officer, You never want a police procession to go down your street because of a fallen officer. And that's what happened in this community tonight.
Yeah, we just saw that moment ago, the procession with the ambulance, presumably with the police officers' body inside moving down.
So Lions Den, if I'm not mistaken, he said there's 6 that are pronounced dead or injured. Is it 6? Let's get this correct.
Well, the last time I checked, it was 5. So I guess they found another body that I didn't even know about. So
And then they said,
6.
okay. And then, sir, they said that there was an officer either injured or he's pronounced dead.
Yes. That's correct.
Okay. I'm trying to hang in there for the press conference before we put a crescendo on tonight's program. Let me see. Ted says that's on San Army Watch when she was the DA. Amy Kobachaw's watch, he says, yeah. And this is the amazing thing about it. She blew the ball on that, and here she is sitting in the Senate. Lions, let me bring this up. This is another sidebar issue. I do have an issue with politicians that find themselves from local government into the Senate or the Congress of this country, who are either attorneys, attorney generals, and when it was their time to be that liberal person they claim to be, they do nothing. Amy Klobuchar is also responsible for a young black male who got railroaded by the police, and she never did anything for the young man. But yet they ride. I don't care if it's Republicans or Democrats. I've got no cut card here. Yet they ride themselves into our government and tell me and you about morality. Oh, we got to work together. Oh, we got to be about the people. Oh, we got to be about putting the crime bill together. They talk all this talk, but when you do your research on them in their local government where they came from, they have a bad record when it comes to the same damn things that they preach about when they get to Washington, D.C. That's a problem.
Yeah, and this was so sad about it, that a lot of politicians can talk, they can say whatever they want to say just to get in office. They can say, "Well, I promise I'll do this for the black community." And then once they step in office, they ain't do a damn thing. This is what politicians do. This is what they do. They want to talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. It's like they have lobbyists behind them saying, "Well, okay, just say that, but you really doing what you really know why you're doing what you're doing behind the scenes because you paid to do that." So at the end of the day, politicians can talk what they want to do or talk what they want to talk, but at the end of the day, they don't really do the action. They talk is a good game, but actions, as I say, speak louder than words.
Right. So I'm still, Lions Den, you're on point, sir. I'm still waiting to see if any of these live feeds are going to give us a press conference so I can I want to show the press conference before tonight's program is over. I don't care what anybody thinks. There is a double standard on how certain people get treated when they engage in criminal activity. And I'm going to say it again. I just find it amazing that these mass shooters who tend to be, because even the FBI, if you look at FBI crime statistics, even the FBI says that usually these mass shooters tend to be white males. And when they engage in this, usually the police, if they don't take their own life, the police usually takes them alive.
Mm-hmm.
But if me and you get stopped by the police and we meet a police officer who's treating us poorly and we say, "Hey, officer, what did I do? Give me your license and registration." "Officer, I didn't do anything." We end up sometimes possibly harmed, if not have our life taken away.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And he gets to get escorted away to a gurney to get treatment on his leg or whatever's injured on him. The man who did that shooting in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. Unbelievable. Go ahead, Lions Den.
No, what I was about to say is that I think you were referring to the Waco, Texas incident. Even with that situation, if I'm not mistaken, the police didn't do anything with these biker gangs. They just sitting there. They just really sitting there. They one of them sitting there. I think it was questioning. That was basically it. But they really didn't have anything. They didn't do anything to these biker gangs. They weren't putting them in handcuffs and none of that. All they did was just the shooting happened. The shootout happened, and then when they finally came, all they do is question them. They basically didn't even put each other in handcuffs. So I see what you're right, because I think that it's really treated differently when it comes to white suspects than black suspects. Because, like you said, if it's us that did this, you and me, we'll be 6 feet under. We'll be in the casket.
Ladies and gentlemen that are coming in, check out our programs on YouTube. I'm the Information Man. Check out the Information Man Show. Lions Den, tell everybody about your YouTube channel as well.
Check out Lions Den. This is Lions Den, aka Trey X. It's my YouTube channel.
All right. Let me see what's going on in the audio feed right now before I bring the live feed up.
King Supers who were up there. It was a very frightening scene for everyone.
Steve, I want you to stand by. I just want to tell everyone that we're awaiting a press conference to start at any moment. It was scheduled to start at 8:15 Mountain Time in Boulder, Colorado.
It's coming.
It is now 8:18, 3 minutes after it's supposed to start. But they're getting themselves together, and hopefully they'll have more information this time than they did with the last press conference just about an hour or so ago, maybe a little bit. Hour and 15 minutes.
All right. Ted is asking me for the link to the YouTube channel. Lions Den, if you can, let's what I'll do is I'll put the link in the chat room.
Okay.
Let me see. Lion. Here you go. I think you will come up. ADOS. Oh, there we go. And we're live on your YouTube channel anyway right now too as well. You got it right here, Trey X. Let me put your link in the chat room right now so people can check you out before I put mine in there. Thanks a lot for that reminder, Brother Ted. And let's put that in there right now. And hopefully that will process itself very, very nicely. Let me go pull my channel up. And while I'm doing that, let me play you the live feed from CNN.
Check, mic check. Scott, you doing
So
mic check?
they're asking for mic checks and white balances.
It's getting close, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting close
in these situations.
to the press
so they want it
conference.
perfect so that all the news organizations can be there. You can get the right pictures and the right sound. They said it's going to be about a minute or so before they have it all together. So this press conference will start moments away. I believe this time they will have more information they've had before. What they're working on, which is correct, but they're doing the right thing, is notifying the families before they hear about it in the media. Here is the press conference. Let's listen in.
Confirmed. Everybody ready?
Yes, ma'am. No. Good on sound test. Good.
Again, still getting their acts together. If you're watching here, and I don't want to step on it because I want you to hear every single thing they had to say. The public's right to know is very important in this
How about
moment. But it's also important that they get their acts together so they can hear. There are other local news organizations there. I would imagine.
Okay, everybody. So we're going to hear the live press conference. If I can get a visual feed for you to see the visual and the audio, I'll pull that up. If I can't, we'll stick with the CNN live audio feed, radio style.
To allow all of the media to be able to get together. The District Attorney Michael Doherty, who we heard from at the top of our show and our open here, will also give some new information as well. There are other agencies there, as we were told, the FBI, the ATF, and many other local and surrounding agencies who are working with the Boulder Police Department to try to get to the bottom of exactly what happened, what we know about this alleged shooter, and about the people who sadly perished in this, including one police officer who moments ago we saw their body being taken away by ambulance through a procession of the streets of Boulder, Colorado. So again, just awaiting everyone to get their acts together here. I'm not sure how hastily this press conference was called, because initially we thought this press conference would be maybe in an hour or so, and then all of a sudden our Lucy Kavanaugh was on the air with us live at the top of the show, and she said, in about 6 minutes, Don, you're going to get a press conference, and here it is. About 10 minutes
My name
after
is
that.
Dion Wall. I'm the Public Information Officer for the City of Boulder Police Department. We're going to have 3 speakers during this press conference. The first is going to be the Boulder Police Chief, Maris Herold. Her name is spelled Maris Herold. Then we're going to have District Attorney Michael Doherty, and then we're going to have someone from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Chief Herold.
Thanks, Dion. The first thing I want to say is I want to say our hearts of this community go out to the victims of this horrific incident. We know of 10 fatalities at the scene, including one of our Boulder PD officers by the name of Eric Talley, who's been on the Boulder Police Department since 2010. He's served in numerous roles supporting the Boulder Police Department and the community of Boulder. And I have to tell you, the heroic action of this officer when he responded to this scene. At 14:30 hours, the Boulder Police Department began receiving phone calls of shots fired in the area and a phone call about a possible person with a patrol rifle. Officer Talley responded to the scene, was the first on the scene, and he was fatally shot. I also want to commend the heroic actions of the officers responding not only from Boulder PD, but from across.
Let me thank Rick, who's coming to the chat room, has been in the chat room for a while. We got my man Ted. Time to promote. If you don't do it, who will, he says. And I put the 2 links of both our channels into the chat room for anybody who wants to check out our YouTube channels. I'm the Information Man. Check out the Information Man show on YouTube. And Lions Den, his channel is Lions Den, aka Trey X. Check him out as well. Links are in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen.
My heart goes out to the victims of this incident. And I'm grateful for the police officers that responded. And I am so sorry about the loss of Officer Talley. And again, we will be here working night and day. We have 1 suspect in custody. I want to reassure the community that they are safe and that we will try to do our best over the next few hours to identify the victims. And we'll be working with the coroner's office to do that as promptly as possible, because I know there are people out there waiting for an answer, and I am very sympathetic to that, and we will work around the clock to get this accomplished.
Chief recognized.
With that in mind, I'm going to turn this over to District Attorney Michael Doherty.
Good evening. Boulder has suffered a terrible and horrific mass shooting today. And I want to second what the chief said about the appreciation for the local, state, and federal partners that have responded to this location and to help with the investigation. This is not the first mass shooting that we've had in the state of Colorado. And one thing that's happened in response to each and every one, including today's horrific acts, is the response that we have from law enforcement partners throughout the metro area, victim advocates from throughout the area around Boulder, and investigators from local, state.
Okay, Rick, I'm following you, your YouTube channel, and I'm following you on HAPS as well, sir. Thank you. I'll be checking out your content.
Is done. My heart goes out to Eric Talley's family, his loved ones, and his colleagues. He was, by all accounts, one of the outstanding officers at the Boulder Police Department, and his life was cut far too short as he responded to the shooting that was taking place at King Soopers. I also want to stress how incredibly sorry I am for all the victims who were killed at King Soopers. These were people going about their day, doing their food shopping, and their lives were cut abruptly and tragically short by the shooter, who is now in custody. I promise the victims and the people of the state of Colorado that we will secure justice and do everything we must do to get justice in this case. In order for that to happen, a painstaking investigation is already underway, both at the crime scene and in interviews, to make sure that we receive all the accurate information. Once that information is secured, we'll be sharing that with the media and with the community. I would say that I hope the people of this country send the families of the loved ones their thoughts and prayers. But from my perspective, there's more for us to do than just give them our thoughts and prayers. We're going to go all out to ensure that the right result is reached. And that's why I'm very grateful that we do have local, state, and federal agencies all responding to this location here today to ensure that the investigation is thorough and complete and ensures that we reach justice in this case. To mention, the shooter is currently in custody. He was injured. With an eye towards the prosecution of that case, we're going to be very careful about the crime scene and how we go about this investigation. We owe it to the families of all the victims, each and every one of them, to ensure that justice is done. And I promise you that is our commitment, and we will work tirelessly to get there. I'm going to turn it over to the U.S. Attorney, Matt Kirsch, who's here on behalf of the U.S. Attorney's Office. And again, I greatly appreciate the local, state, and federal cooperation on this.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there and bring it back in just 1 minute. Lions Den, this is what I want to say. Doesn't the press conference sound too familiar? We've heard this story before. A shooting happens, the police get together, they have a press conference, they tell everybody we're going to get to the heart of the matter, right? You get the family members of the victims come out and they say we need a stop to this, right? So then you're going to have the president of the United States, or you already had the president speak out about it. Everybody's going to say, let's give a prayer to the lost. They're going to memorialize the whole thing, right? And we're going to be talking about, you're going to hear the news agencies talking about this for the next couple of weeks. Everybody's going to be having a roundtable discussion about what can we do about this? The same discussions we've had already, and they haven't done a damn thing. You understand what I'm saying here?
Facts.
I'm telling you right now, the time of talk, this is how I feel. The time for talk is over. We need action and less talk and less promises. Okay? We need action, because you're going to hear all the politicians locally, nationally. You're going to hear everybody say all the right things right now. But we've seen this before, and they really, after everything dies, after everything kind of goes down, the intensity of what happened goes down. People go right back to their everyday lives, right? People and so you will still have the NRA that will lobby these politicians, what have you. I'm going to say it again. It's not about taking people's guns away. It's about way to identify people who shouldn't have guns. I just played a video tonight for you all, Lions, and you saw it, that showed you how weak the gun laws are, how easy it is for someone to get a gun in Colorado who's got problems. So easy. So I don't want to hear this crap about, well, they get the guns illegally. No, most of these mass shooters are getting the guns the proper way, but they don't do a good job with background check. I just played the video about Colorado and how it's easy, that they don't do a better checking job than they're supposed to. This ain't see the NRA and all the people that are pushing you want to take my guns away from me. Ain't nobody I'm gonna keep it 100% real. Most of the people who cry and whine about their guns being taken away are white people, particularly white males. Guess what? White society white society has not had their guns taken away and have never been disenfranchised in the way that black people in America have been disenfranchised. We have had our guns taken away. When you look at, let me give you some of y'all some history. Wake your minds up right now. Come to school. I'm taking your asses to school right now.
Saying that he was sorry for
come to school. In California, the reason why you can't have open carry in California to this very day is because the Black Panther Party for self-defense went to Sacramento, California State House. And that at that time, I think it was 1967, if I'm not mistaken. At that time, you could carry a gun in California long as you didn't have a bullet in the chamber. Well, the Black Panther Party followed all the rules. And it wasn't the whole Black Panther Party. It was a small number of them that went down to the Sacramento State Building. They went down there with their guns symbolically, had their guns, and did not have bullets in the chamber following the law. They weren't even inside the state building. They were just demonstrating. The police took their guns away, checked them out to make sure they didn't have a bullet in the chamber. Then they realized, oh, these folks are following the law. They gave the guns back to them. Then members of the Black Panthers decided to leave, got in their cars, took a drive through Sacramento to a gas station, went into the gas station to get some snacks and to gas the car. Then what happened? The police rode up on them and eventually took their guns away from them, violating the law of California and the law of Second Amendment rights, then put them in jail. They violated no goddamn laws. That was the Black Panther Party. You're going to learn something today, goddammit. You're going to learn something. You're going to learn something if you didn't learn nothing in your lamb life.
Saw that beautiful.
You're going to hit, that's the damn school bell. And then the reason why they changed the gun laws in California because Ronald Racist Reagan, that's right, I said it. Ronald Racist Reagan was the governor of California at the time, and he changed the laws. Why? Because they were afraid about black people exercising their rights and bearing their arms under the law. So they changed the law. So if you live in California, that's why you can't bear your goddamn arms out front and center. Black people in America are the only ones to have our guns taken from us. White males run around 365 days a year crying about they getting their guns. You never had your guns taken away like that. Even those militia that went to Michigan and broke into the Michigan building, they didn't have their guns taken away and they weren't arrested. So that's why I get sick of hearing particularly white males crying about their guns being taken away when your goddamn guns ain't been taken away from you. You haven't been disfranchised like my people have. Shut your mouth up.
What they did mention the calls reporting someone with a patrol rifle, although a different source told us that this was an AR-15 style rifle. So we're waiting for more details on. Exactly.
Okay. Once again, Lions Den, let me ask you this question. This weapon, the AR-15 rifle, why do you need that? What do you usually use that rifle for? Is that for hunting? What is it used for?
The AR-15 is a military style rifle.
Thank you. So the question,
go to Iraq or Afghanistan and use that AR-15 for the rifle.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what they use it for.
All due to the respect to people who want their Second Amendment rights to be honored. The question is, why do people need military grade weapons if you're claiming you want weapons to go hunting? I get it. You want the weapons. You like guns. You're a gun enthusiast. That's fine. But what are we going to do? See, this is how you cut into the NRA and people that are gun right advocates into their rhetoric. It's not about taking guns away. It's about keeping them out of the hands of people like that today. See, they never want to focus on that aspect of the argument.
And info, and if I may, this remind you, and I know, remember the incident at the Waffle House in Antioch, Tennessee, that claimed the lives of 4 people there. This sort of remind me of that. And the guy who did the shooting was also didn't have no shirt. Matter of fact, he was nearly butt naked. All he had was a weather coat on him. And I went to the gravesite in Antioch before I moved here in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I went to that Waffle House, and I saw the four graves of the victims that were lost their lives that day. See, the problem is that when we hear officials or law enforcement officers, we will do the best we can to change the law. And like you said, Info, they ain't doing a damn thing about that. They just doing it because they basically had an incident happen, and all of a sudden we got to think how we're going to spare in the press conference, and they don't want to be embarrassed of how they're trying to get it out there, because the last thing they need is the victims' families be very upset with law enforcement because they didn't do a damn thing to get these gun controls, get these guns out of the hands of criminals.
Well,
this is what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Let me say this tonight. Let me just say this and keep it 100% real, because I know that there's going to be some goofy person that will listen to this wherever they are listening to it on social media, and they're going to say, that guy right there, the guy who calls himself Information Man, he's playing the race card tonight. He's playing the race card. No. Check this out. All you got to do is this, America. That is, treat everybody the same. So treat people who engage in criminal activity, whether they're black, white, Asian, Latino, Russian, whatever the race of people we have in this country. When people commit the same type of behavior when it comes to crime, treat everybody the same. The reason why I'm setting up here going on my soapbox tonight is because we're seeing that people are not being treated the same when they're committing crime. That's why race is not a card. Race is a legitimate, realistic issue in this country, has not gone away. Just because we had a black president and Obama doesn't mean that race hasn't gone away. Matter of fact, when Obama was in office, do you know that there was more guns that were purchased in this country because people thought that he was going to take away their guns? People thought that he was from the Middle East, that he was Muslim, that he was going to collaborate with Saddam Hussein or somebody like that that's been assassinated, by the way, who was taken out by the government. Everybody thought he was going to be doing this and that. And guess what? Obama never took your guns away from you. Right? And Obama got more death threats on his life than any president in history. I said it. Any president in history. So what does that tell you? So that's why I don't want to hear nobody out there saying, well, we in a post-racial society because you had a black man that was president. That don't mean nothing. Plus Obama was picked and chose and groomed for the damn job from the get-go. If you look at his history, his background, his lineage, who he's related to, hell, I think he's a cousin to Dick Cheney or somebody. If you look at his lineage and you look at his background, he was hand-picked and molded. Remember, we don't select who's president. We simply vote for who's president, and they're selected for us. And for those of you out there who think that Donald Trump was not an insider, Donald Trump got his money when he went bankrupt with the Atlantic City casino. Who in the hell bankrupts a casino? That's crazy. But when he went bankrupt, did you know that Donald Trump couldn't get any money in any bank in this country? But guess who helped him out? I'm going to tell you right now. Here is the breaking news. It was a man by the name of Wilbur Ross of the Rothschild family, who gave him money and bailed him out. And he made Wilbur Ross he made him an economist within the administration. Wilbur Ross is connected to old money, the Rothschild family. Donald Trump's been kicking it with him for years, and you got people out here talking about Donald Trump not an insider. You got to be out of your goddamn minds out there if you think he wasn't an insider. Let's check the news feed and see what CNN is saying right now at this live press conference.
Shooting in a week here, for the entire United States. We had that horrific mass shooting in Atlanta last week. Democrats are now in control of the House, or in control of the Senate. Should President Biden make tackling gun violence a priority at this point?
Well, he's already talked. I mean, he's made it a priority. It is a priority. It's being talked about in real time. Mark Kelly is in the U.S. Senate.
All right, I'm going to stop that, Lions Den. Looks like they're talking political talk now. I'm going to end the program. We've been on for a while. I think we've said all we can say about this. And we got Rick who's in there. He says, that's the dim. Look, this is the thing, Rick. Just keep this in mind. I've got no cut card. I'll talk about Democrats. I'll talk about Republicans. I'll talk about independents. I'll talk about progressives, so-called progressives. If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to get on you. The problem with American society is that we are divided by these political ideologies and these political parties, which divide us. In both these political parties, look at the symbol. Let me give you the symbolism here. In America, one of our symbolisms is the eagle. You spread the eagle's wings wide. What do you have? The eagle's wings are what? Left wing and right wing. Both political parties play games on us. You think that the Democrats are different from the Republicans, and the Republicans are different from the Democrats. They're one in the same. Three things you gotta remember. You gotta understand, ladies and gentlemen. In politics, there are no permanent friends. There's no permanent enemies. There's just permanent damn interests. Both these political parties play against each other, and they play us like chessboards, like pawns on up chessboards. And every couple of years, you get the Republicans that get in office to do their thing. Then the Democrats come in, and then we walk around as citizens saying, you know what? Things are still not getting better for us. We've had Democrats, we've had Republicans, and we say to ourselves, things are still not getting as good as it should be. So they both play a lot of games, and we vote these people in, and we think that they work for us. No, we think that we work for them. No, they work for us. And that's the damn problem. Now, the Democrats screw you with Vaseline, and the Republicans screw you with no Vaseline. But in the end, you still get screwed. And that is, and I must say it, as I end this broadcast that I have on, that is how it happens at the end of the day. That is the truth.
Tell the truth.
Lions, then you have any last words, brother?
Yeah, I like to thank everybody on HAP for tuning in our program. And my final thoughts for tonight is that I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're independent, progressive, whatever. We live in the same political society that breathes the same, and the money is the same. The green is all they care about. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. They don't care about anybody else but the almighty dollar in politicians' hands.
Right.
And until change happens, we're going to still feel the same fate. That's
right.
it for me, folks.
Let me say peace to lovely Brandy Singleton. She's in the house, in the chat room. She's a podcaster. And I've had her on my program. We've had some conversations. I've been on her podcast. She's been on my podcast. I've got to get her back on to get her opinions about what's going on. So me and her got to connect. And many people out there that are listening, everybody that listens to this, I appreciate it. You can share it. Once again, check out the Information Man Show on YouTube. Check out Lions Den's program. It's called Lions Den, a.k.a. Trey X, on YouTube. Subscribe, share the videos. You definitely going to get a handful from us on our YouTube programs. You got a little taste of how raw I can get. This is how I get raw on my YouTube channel. I got a little bit more raw than I was expecting to get on HAPS. Didn't want to get this raw because I don't think people can handle how raw I can get on this platform, but that's just my opinion. But we're going to see what we can do with this program going forward. So Lions Den, we're going to do this again next week. I'm going to get you back on. We'll have more commentary. Everybody look out for my pre-produced commentary. I will be producing my Information Man show, which will be an upload, pre-produced program about the news and what's happening in the news. And that's the show with all the bells and the whistles, and I'll be inside my virtual studio for that one. I have to do that pre-produced because HAPS is in a beta stage. And when I try to do it live, I'm having all sorts of problems because HAPS is still in the beta stage. So you be on the lookout for a pre-produced Information Man TV with all the looks, all the trimmings, all the studio look and everything coming your way this week. Lions Den, you have a great evening, my brother. I thank everybody out there listening. Thank you for coming on board with me tonight. Once again, it's a damn shame that this happened. Say a prayer for the family, people that lost their family members, people that lost their life. And I think the guy who did this shooting, he deserves a hot ass place in hell. He needs to be in 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 100 hells over for what he did.
Mm-hmm. Right. And before I go, I'd like to also give condolences to the families that lost a loved one today in this huge tragedy. And I hope the families get justice in this case. I hope, like you said, I don't care if I oppose the death penalty, but in this case, if the death penalty, the prosecution issue, I'm for that because he deserved every bit of it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rick. He says, stay safe. Look, this is the thing. I'm in California. They stopped the death penalty in California. Everybody, if you didn't know this, in California, we have about 700 to 800 men on death row and San Quentin prison. However, there is a moratorium on executions. No one has been executed because we're basically going to get rid of it. So these guys are going to be basically lifers is what they're going to be. I've been to San Quentin. Because of the kind of, I'm not going to go into details, but the kind of the work that I do deal with criminals. And I've been to San Quentin. I've worked with guys on death row. I've seen it. So when I talk the way I talk about criminality, I'm not just one of these guys sitting up here with a microphone who's just sitting and has no experience. I deal with criminals for a living. I have dealt with guys on death row. I have dealt with serial killers. You name it, gangbangers, you name it, I deal with them. So I understand the criminal mind, and I understand an individual who did what that individual did out there in Colorado. Oh, I understand it very well because I deal with those who do that type of crime, have done it for many, many years now. However, religiously, they say we don't have the right to judge, right? That you put it in the hands of God and God will give a punishment, a spiritual punishment, whatever that punishment is. And I say that's true. But if it was this is the thing about people that are against corporal punishment. Usually people who don't like corporate punishment are people who have never had their family member taken from them. If you get your family member taken away from you by someone gruesome, you might have a different perspective about corporate punishment if it was your daughter, your son, your baby, your father, your wife, your uncle, someone that was taken away from someone that was a criminal. You might just have a different damn perspective. I'll just leave you with that. It ain't for me to say what's right or wrong, but I'm just simply saying you may have a different perspective when someone you love is taken out of here like that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Information Man TV. I'll be back with the pre-recorded program this week. You'll like that with all the bells and whistles on that. Lions Den will be back at this next week. Keep doing your thing, brother. We'll get at it again very soon. I appreciate everybody out there. It's been beautiful tonight.
All right.
Thank
Peace,
you.
y'all.
All right, my brother. Peace.
Information is power. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. Information is power. Information is power. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.